It's coming good. What do you want first?
Bring Joe out. This is case number 12-9392, the people versus Joseph Gentz. Appearance for the record.
Good morning, Your Honor. John Boytel for the people.
Ronald Ambrose here on behalf.
Excuse me, I said Joe Gentz. Did you say Joe Gentz? Come on here.
Joseph Gentz. John Holler here on behalf of Mr. Gentz.
Okay, what's going on, Mr. Gentz? Are you ready to proceed? Huh?
Are you ready to resume the testimony, Mr. Gentz? Yes.
Okay, very good. Let's do it. All right, good. Give Mr. Bashara. Case number 13-8320, the people versus Robert Bashara. Today is the day for post-conviction motion. Appearances for the record.
And good morning, Your Honor. John Boytel for the people.
Ronald Ambrose here on behalf of Mr. Bashara.
Very good. Are you ready to resume?
Yes, Your Honor. And if I may, I have somebody, it's a Wayne State Law student that I asked to assist me in this.
With the video?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
His name is Eric.
Well, you don't need his name.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Gentz, you're still under oath.
Yes, ma'am. What video?
Okay, you may proceed.
What video?
How are you, Mr. Bashara?
I'm well, Your Honor, and you? Doing okay, given all I've been through.
Okay.
You're still under oath, Mr. Gentz.
Yes, sir.
And you understand the...
Oh, what's that? How you doing, Mr. Gentz?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
All right. Last time we were here, we talked about a number of subjects, and some of those items I'm going to get back into. One of the things I understand is that you want to discuss some of your interactions with the police. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. What I wanted to do as well is, we'll get into that, but some of the things I also want to address is this affidavit that has your signature on it. Now, that is your signature on that affidavit, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. Now, can I ask you what the process is within the Macomb Correctional Facility in terms of getting something notarized?
What do you mean?
Well, do they have a notary on call, or do you have to sign up for it, or how is it processed?
No, I just go to the ARUS.
You go to the ARUS.
Yes.
And what's an ARUS?
Like a counselor.
I think, that's the way I look at it.
All right. Now, your testimony was that Carlo Bartonelli asked you, or tell me, how did Carlo Bartonelli come to prepare this affidavit?
He begged me. He told me, I don't know how many
I'm
times.
sorry, you can't hear him. You
Well,
have,
I got this behind.
okay, dear, you have to speak, pull the microphone closer, cut it up a little bit.
Well, he needs to speak now.
You got to speak up.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, Mr. Gantz.
Okay. What was the question again?
How did Carlo Bartonelli come to prepare this affidavit for you?
He asked me about 10 times. He came to me and says he can do this. He can figure it. I mean, he did it. I just gave him my PSI
You
paperwork.
did? And why did you give him your PSI?
Huh?
Why did you give him your PSI?
He said he can get. He was going to do something. I don't know what he was going to actually do, but that's how that came out. The paperwork. I mean, if that's what you want to know.
Well, let me ask this question to you.
Okay.
When you saw the affidavit when we were here last in court, remember when you looked at it
Yeah, you told me to read it.
and you read it, right?
Well,
Right?
sort of, yeah.
Okay, did you read it before it was given to the court?
No,
So you just signed it?
I just signed it.
So when you said this is garbage, you had never read it before?
No,
Okay, go ahead.
Did Mr. Bartonelli read it to you?
no.
So
What
you
did
just
you-
signed something and they submitted it to the court?
That's correct.
Okay.
What did you think you were signing?
I don't know, a piece of paper.
And why were you signing this?
Why?
Yeah, why?
I don't know.
Why didn't you read what you were signing?
I never read what I sign.
Okay. But you knew that it was something about going to the court, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
And you knew that you gave them your PSI, didn't you?
Yes.
And you wanted a deal or something, didn't you?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
wanted something, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So why didn't you read what was written down?
I don't know.
All right, go ahead.
Did you go to the ARUS alone?
Yeah.
All right, and this ARUS, is this person a notary?
Yeah, as far as I know.
All right, and this person witnessed your signature, is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, now you have this document, you had signed it, the ARUS gives it back to you, is that correct?
That's right.
All right, and what do you do with it?
I gave it to Carlos.
All right, and why did you give it to Carlo?
Carlos said he would hand it to somebody else.
And do you know,
I don't know. I don't know where it went after that because I didn't see it. I didn't have an envelope. I didn't mail nothing out. I didn't type it up. I don't have no copies of it.
All right, off the record. This machine has to be shut off because of stenographer.
The cameraman in the second row was open.
Oh, the cameraman. You got to put your camera on silent. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
so you don't know what you were signing,
No.
and you don't know why you gave it to Carlo Bartonelli,
He said he was going to give it to a lawyer. That's all I knew.
and do you know what lawyer he was going to give it to?
No.
Did you tell him to give it to Bob Bashara's lawyer?
No. They just submitted wherever it went. I have no clue.
Do you have any idea what the contents of this document was?
No.
And you just signed it.
Yes.
Now, with regard to, we'll get into your contact with the police, okay?
Yes.
Now, last time we were here, you said that your contact with the police was January 28th, I think you testified to,
That's correct.
Of what year?
of 2012.
Yeah, 2012.
And at that point, they came knocking on your door, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, and did you at that point give them a DNA sample?
Okay, let me just say this to you. We're not retrying this case here. It is a motion for a new trial. I'm not going back that far. He's already indicated, the witness has indicated that he didn't even know what he was signing and the contents of it. We're not going over all of that?
No, I'm getting into time frames, basically, of when he first had contact with the police. And
For what?
because it's important as to...
The new trial, that's what we're here for,
Right.
okay? So how is this important? This would be important if we were having a new trial. But this is a motion to get one.
Right.
So I don't understand how we're going back to 2012, want to go to Bashir, all these points. That is a new trial. I'm listening.
No, yeah, and I'm... Your Honor mentioned that I'd be allowed to impeach him.
Some latitude, but no. This is a new... We have been here a long time. And the basis of this is to determine if we are going to get a new trial. He's already indicated he didn't even know the contents of the affidavit, so I don't even see how we even get into impeachment if he didn't know the contents of the affidavit. When I made that ruling at that time, I thought that he was basically recanting. He's basically saying he don't know what he put in there. So I don't understand how this is relevant.
Well, it goes to his I mean, this is the first time I'm having an opportunity to have Mr. Gentz examined, and I understand it's an important aspect to show the court that Mr. Bashara should be granted a new trial.
But do you understand the parameters? And I know you do, Mr. Ambrose, because this is what you do. He's saying he doesn't even know the contents of the affidavit. The affidavit was a basis for newly discovered evidence or for the court to look at and determine a new trial. He's saying he don't know what's in it. So I don't see how we're going to get into this. I mean, I know it's important that you want to present it, but it's not proper at this point.
What I'm getting at, the contents of that affidavit are
He said he don't know what was in it.
understood, but they fall strictly in line with our theory of the case. So he's the only one that would know what the contents were, and he's the only one that signed the affidavit.
But he just said I didn't even read it. I
But-
don't know.
It's a pretty accurate assessment of our theory.
But he gave the PSI to the witness to author.
That PSI does not contain this information.
Mr. Prosecutor.
Your Honor, actually, everything that you just said is exactly what I was going to say.
Very good. So at this point, I'm going to limit your examination to that. I mean, we can't go farther. I don't know. I'm not going into that. Because he's basically indicating that you can talk about, the contents of the affidavit, how this information came to be, etc. But beyond that, factually, I can't get into that. Because he basically has not adopted those contents. You want me to give you a recess based on my ruling as to figure out which area you want to go into?
I'd appreciate that, Your Honor, because I did have a general outline of how I wanted to present this. It probably would last a couple hours.
But that's not the problem of the amount of time. It's the pursuit of justice that we are all after. But
okay.
there are rules of engagement. And the rules of engagement says that if he is indicating that he didn't know what's in that affidavit, and he signed it, then I am limited to that, okay? And so then you cannot attack his credibility because he doesn't know what's said in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to give a break of 15 minutes because I see you put together a lot of things that would probably have been that are very helpful at a trial. But right now, based on what he said, We're constrained. 15-minute recess. Sit down.
But they just trying to get away with what they can
Put it this way.
Take the ones you want.
Hey, how are you doing? Be careful on Oliver.
Ooh, very nice. Love it. I don't know what
Is that you? I was just gonna put a little tape here. Is that okay?
That's great. They borrowed my equipment last night, and they tangled my wireless, tangled this, and they, worse, they took my cards out of my... So I came out, I had no cards. Yeah.
Oh, Sam.
Okay. Correct. We'll answer all your questions as long as you say what you said.